We ended that.
I don't understand. I really don't.
I don't either. I guess.
Or minute.
Should be warm enough in here for you today.
Yes,
I had to shut it off.
good deal.
So what do they feel that that's gained? Do you have any ideas?
What's that?
What do they feel that's gained? Do you have any ideas?
Control.
Well, true.
Full control. I told somebody, it's like cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
It's just spite.
I just don't understand.
You know, this hearing was Monday afternoon.
That's what you said, yeah.
Well, see, they said it wasn't, but it was.
What you're.
Willett.
Oh. Did you go?
No, because when Kristie called up through, they said they didn't have a schedule, and then
What a waste of
she
time.
saw it on the, like,
What a waste of time.
is the floodplain stuff, something we should pop in on tomorrow? It's from 2 to 6:30, right?
I think it's just a come and go.
So, I mean, is it something we should pop in on?
If you want to, I went to the original one. When it had the first one they had. Bless you.
What's that?
I heard her say her went to her lovely meeting, Kristie, in the hall.
Morning.
Did you mean that?
Good morning.
No, your lovely
To your
meeting.
lovely meeting?
Yes. My lovely meeting. Did you think there was sarcasm in that?
I was close to it, Kristie.
Morning, y'all.
Feeling better?
Top notch.
Did you want me to make copies of this?
Yeah, please.
I didn't.
Sorry. Try to with my copy.
You need a copy too?
Yeah, so.
I just forwarded you an email. You got- I'm sure that'll be about the first year.
Who the person is that's putting in the sheriff's office?
I don't know, but it would have been helpful had it said where exactly it's
That's
on.
what I thought the first time. It's like, okay, how do we know where they're
I'm
at?
like, should I lock my house up?
They're easy, man.
Yeah, but they didn't tell that till the second time. They didn't tell it the first time.
What was that on text yesterday? I'm not getting those anymore.
Really?
No,
I need to go back in and sign up.
yeah, mine do
Yeah, it just came through that he was escaped or took off from a traffic stop.
Possibly, yeah.
Don't approach, call
Don't approach him and it's like, where's he at? You know, what area?
too. Well, what about the fatality accident up on, that was up there at, what, number 9?
My favorite one was last week at 118 and 75 highway.
Yeah.
2 individuals.
Oh, sleeping car?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
With
maybe,
the crack
maybe
pipe.
asleep, yeah, with crack pipe.
In their hand,
I'm not gonna
in front of the stop sign, ready to pull out on the highway. Had a convicted felon and had a firearm. So, crazy.
Good to hear, I mean, I saw that on Facebook, that there was an accident up there.
Said it was a 2-week that they had on, and both of the people were
Who's that?
2 months.
Where,
It said close to Netawaka, so I don't know if it's the Netawaka turnoff, the first one there, and the passing lanes are up at 9. I don't know where it was.
Or the 2 lanes.
All right, at 9 o'clock, we'll open meeting with pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Just a little housekeeping here. We have a Conservation District dinner on Wednesday. I don't know if everybody signed up for it. If you're going to go, if you haven't, probably better need to get a hold of them today to sign up. I didn't return this gentleman's call yet. I was down in the hill most of last week, but Terry Weldin from the Lions Club, they're trying to start a Lions Club back up here in Jackson County, countywide. And I do have his contact number here. He wanted somebody from the commission to possibly join if we could. So if you want his number, I can get that to you.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Okay.
I can't be there. He wanted the chair. So
Yeah, I can't be there either, so.
Okay,
I need to get back with him. Like I said, I was down most of the week last week, so.
yeah, he just needs a phone call to know, to plan for the food.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I talked to him again, okay.
And let's see, Clara Lubbern has volunteered to be the representative for the Northeast Kansas Area Agency on Aging. So we've got that one covered. We still need to work on the multi-county health, and I need to get Aaron some information for that, so we'll get that going. We have some tax abatements here to sign.
Did you go to that?
Or no.
What do I think about
That's
it?
warm in here,
Yeah,
Jack.
so just going back to that livestock thing, just all of this down here,
I didn't
Senior
want to worry
center
about it. Like, it's
don't have to
72.
do anything,
But
other
like,
than just want to represent
my office
Jackson County. They're starting a new
whole-
chapter here.
You don't know that. Like,
Uh,
it
they're
gets, I
saying
know
twice
exactly.
since I've marked
I had a
it.
jacket on. It was.
Sherry Weldin.
But if you're available to go,
When is it?
24th, I
I
believe, on
believe that's what
Saturday,
it is. I'd have to look on that.
but,
24th of February?
uh,
That's a Tuesday.
and it's a Saturday night, so
22nd.
you have,
It is a Saturday, and I thought it was Tuesday.
Well, that would make sense if it's 24th. Yeah, I'd probably go.
it's a Saturday night though, because I have a commitment that night. Yeah, it's like at 5 o'clock maybe?
Okay.
Brandon posted something on Facebook about that too, so we can double check, make sure what time
See
you're.
what-
Close. See if we can find it.
Have to do basic taxes.
Morning.
Morning. 1998 Dodge pickup. If I read it right. How are you?
Good, right?
Maybe I can't, maybe.
Is there an ad? You want any ads or for the next person?
Maybe ask about.
And so I've had an email from, he says he's been here before, from Greg Watkins from
What, go?
Yeah. Who's deals with the hospital. Okay, well, I'm just saying that he asked that when we deal with insurance, if we let him talk again or whatever.
You've been here.
I thought so. He said he does with commissioners before.
He's very important to say no.
I got on his radar because he obviously deals with Bettis down there and put my name together with Jackson. And so I got this email, and so anyway, I just said, it's going to be a while before we get anything. So I'm just,
I'm glad you're on this radar.
yeah, thanks.
I was.
Because I keep getting these emails over and over again.
Not about the appointment today.
Did you watch Super Bowl yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's too excited about it.
I think the
Yeah.
11-year-old would have let me know.
I watched just for some of the commercials, but they weren't really.
You know, this one, after the,
I thought the best one was Budweiser one with the eagle. That was kind of cool. That and it was an opportunity to smoke a bunch of bone and wings.
maybe good thing.
You all got the invitation, didn't you?
Yeah.
Won't need that sweatshirt or jacket this afternoon.
I don't feel like them wearing
We're gonna get spoiled, I think.
Other shoe's gonna drop.
Yep.
Everybody's cabin, they're like, this is great.
All right, you got 9:15. What you got, guys?
Real quick, we went over last week to Platte City and looked at micro roads, what they call it, surfacing process that Vance Brothers does. So Matt, myself, and Joe looked at it, Mark couldn't take it. So anyway, talking to them, sounds like a lot of the stuff that they were putting this over was over asphalt, not necessarily chip and seal. They love the product, and so it works really nice. They did do some of that other process where they put the millings down and then put that emulsion in with it. They said depending on how dry the asphalt is when you put it down, how much oil it has in it, and how much the emulsion they use will determine on how that turns out. He says if it turns out where it's dry, he says you won't like it as much as if it's wet. Make changes on that to get you pretty much whatever you're looking for. But
Big changes on the emulsion they're putting down, the rate they're putting it down.
yes, that mixes in with
Yeah.
with the asphalt. The first one we looked at is basically it's like another process of chip and seal, where it looks more like asphalt instead of having this sort of rock out there. And they're saying that they've been using this for like 7 years, 8 years, so they do like it.
But it was primarily over existing asphalt. They don't
And
have
you still have the cracking. He says if you've got roads that are moving, he says you still have the cracking that you deal with. He says it just seals it better.
But it also levels, so if you have,
It's only like 3/8 of an inch thick that they're putting down on that process.
okay, the other
That
problem
process
with level,
can level, I believe, set up to like 1.5 inches. So that you still have wheel ruts and blowouts, you still have to go repair all that stuff before you can have a good base down. Joe, back and comment, what's your thoughts?
thoughts?
Yeah, you know, we heard that it was going to take care of that, and they described that as the case.
The Platte County guy said that wasn't really the case.
But that, I mean, it looked great, but days to life was about what we were thinking. So I think we do want to try, but it is more expensive.
Yeah, I think it was 60 grand a mile.
That was after
The leveling
the
process.
leveling process, not the emulsion phase. So I think we kind of knocked that out.
So the emulsion could be done over or chip and seal.
We have Stock Advance Brothers about that, but we were thinking, help cover some of the costs rather than do so many miles of the chip and seal this year. We switched to some of that emulsion on the chip and seal. We've got like 9 miles of chip and seal we have for this year. Rather than do the full 9 miles of chip and seal, we have to do 2 or 3 miles of this emulsion stuff and then chip and seal right after that, where you've got on the same road, same traffic running across.
Not where we did the emulsion, leave that alone and go from there on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the emulsion so far and then stop and then do chip and seal the rest of the way. Kieffaber is one of them down here that we're 240, 234, 286 is one of them on this for this year. So that might be a good one to try that on.
But you don't know the cost of it.
Well, I have a ballpark figure. They said around 37,000 a mile.
And we're at 29 to 31,
About 22
for
chip seal. So it would be a little increase, but it's not like, we were talking about going out and doing $580,000 for 3 miles.
Yeah, that's, to me, that, I mean, it'd be nice to try, but to me, that's a little expensive for that, for 3 miles.
the 24,000 to chip and seal doesn't include any patchwork.
No.
But it's like I'm thinking of U Road, K Road out here. We had probably 30 grand in that by the time we did the patching and then the chip and seal or more.
So something about
All right. Matt, what do you think of it?
It looked like it did good, but, we saw finished product. I'd like to see the correct word, stuff like that.
Yeah. Or is Platte City gonna do more this year, did it say, as far as which one, the emulsion or the leveling, or what are they gonna try?
I'm sure there'll be a little bit more of the emulsion.
Would it be worthwhile to go down and look at it when they do it, and see how they're doing it?
I'm sure. I would imagine that a lot of their roads have probably all been fairly level and smoothed up by now, but they've been doing this for a while.
Okay.
They absolutely got rid of all their chip and seal. The chip and seal's too expensive to mess with. And do.
Yeah.
Again, anything you do, you got to have a good base.
Sure.
Bottom line.
Yeah, that's just common sense, so. Okay.
So how did they go about getting rid of their chip and seals? They converted them to an asphalt?
Yes. Well, most of the roads were asphalt. They had very little gravel over there. So most of the stuff was asphalt, and then they put the chip and seal over the asphalt, and seal it, and then they just got away from the chip and seal and did this emulsion.
Did they have to grind up those roads that were chip and seal, or did they lay asphalt over the top of
They put the emulsion over the chip and seal.
That's all they did? And that's what they've done? Because you said some some of their roads are asphalt, but most of the roads are asphalt.
Yes.
They didn't convert chip and seal to asphalt.
No. What I understood, they went from gravel to asphalt.
Okay.
And it's emulsion stuff. They didn't do chip and seal over the asphalt at the time. And they got rid of the chip and seal as emulsion. From what I understood.
Okay.
You guys understand that way too?
Yeah. We could maybe do a quarter of a mile a year of asphalt based on the price of it. Take a while to get there.
Take a little long while to get here.
That's the thing too, at the end, 200 miles,
Yeah.
this thing.
So that's kind of for that one. We did talk to them about some other things, and they absolutely love their road.
They're using it on their,
Yes. He says it's nice because, just like we were talking about, he says you can go grade one time, then run that river 2 times, and then before you have to grade again. So
Okay.
yeah, and I think the key to that is getting the operator to buy into what it will do and making sure that they're operating it correctly.
Very nice people in Platte City.
So,
I just buy anytime to talk.
road rumor, I think I talked to you a little bit about, I had a phone call, somebody was watching it, but,
Yeah.
and did you ever see that? So basically, the individual was watching it, they were running it down the road, but what was coming out was spilling over the edge and back into the ditch.
Well, what had happened, the operator went up there and started running, and there was a bit of a windrow over the side, so it was picking up that windrow, and it was just too much for it to spread, so it would run over the back.
Okay.
Well, I had a call about something like that too. Individual had watched up here on Laker, I believe it was. He said, same one. Okay, and so I had talked about possibly putting some kind of edge on there and a back up there to keep it from dumping out.
But you didn't think that was necessary if they're using it correctly?
What we need to do is run blade ahead of them. One, if they have a windrow, knock that down or spread it out first. If they've got the big potholes, scarify them, get those all fixed, then run the river.
Okay.
But eventually, once you get a lot of that done and don't have a windrow, you shouldn't have to, if you maintain it correctly, you shouldn't have to run that grader in front of it to get out the
Right.
And they have the ability to get over into the grass and pull some of that with that
Yes,
and not bring all the junk.
not bring the weeds and grass with it.
Okay.
So the chip and seal, do you want to get bids yet, or you want to wait? Do some more investigation on the, maybe have Vance Brothers come back and talk to us again?
I think talk to us about the emulsion stuff first and see what that'll do and see what we can do with doing some of the chip and seal and some of the emulsion like we talked about. I think to me that would be a kind of a experiment this year and try it and see if we like it. Because we're gonna have to try something. We can't just sit back and wait. Sorry.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm okay with them coming back and at least have a conversation about it. It is considerably more money, but do they believe, the guys that were doing it over there, do they believe they get more years out of that emulsion than you get standard oil chip and seal type?
They were saying around 7 years, we're like 3 to 5.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to possibly try that. Let's see if we can get them down to let's pick some roads out, what you had said possibly, and do that. And then get them down to a hard number, what it's going to cost to do that.
The only reason I said these roads is that these are ones that were on schedule for this
Right.
year.
Right.
Matt, anything else, or?
No.
I just wanted to hear for his input.
Appreciate it.
Go overstay, whichever you want to do.
Hey, Matt.
See you, man.
Thank you.
All right, LTAP, we got 5 individuals going to a culvert and drainage class on the 11th, which is Wednesday. Down in Jefferson City, so we're getting down to that. I have been checking into possibly some classes here, talk to the lady, and possibly to maybe get some stuff scheduled for this fall. Again, I'm gonna wait till the week meeting this Wednesday to talk to some other road and bridge folks to see if they have any interest. W Road, yes, the other day about cost for rock. We on 270 to 286 for 54,531.53, and from 278. 270 to 278. It's 54,531.53, and 278 up to 286 for $67,960
Additional
for rock.
total between the two. Each. So, over 100,000.
2 miles. Well, for 2.5 miles.
Now, was that completely rebuilding, ditching the whole 9 yards?
No,
Or
no,
is that
no,
just rock?
It's rock.
Okay.
It's rock.
And I thought we had that budget where we had that money already set aside.
Good.
Okay, we do. But I thought it was only about,
We've got 69,000 left. We still have to go from 286 up to White.
okay,
This is just from basically 254 up to 286.
And this is what we were asking to be what W was per mile.
Right. So average is about 60,000 miles. Well, she's got the water hauling in there too, and dirt hauling, which isn't much.
But it's still in there, so.
this is rock only, no labor.
Correct. Equipment cost, labor cost is the 2 columns next to it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Are we currently and have been working on that
Not yet.
for nice weather?
Yeah.
Are we planning on it?
Here we got all the motors in their areas for the next couple days, and then they'll be
Out.
starting working on it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
One of our employees gave us 2 weeks' notice down here, in the area of cold. So, this is last day, so we've already got some of our backups, so we've been training today in that area. Trying to stay on top of that.
So you've got somebody that wants that
We have 2 people that are interested in it.
moving into that slot.
I emailed you guys a copy of a letter that I sent to the BIA and Prairie Band about the inspection. So, just want to keep in the loop on that.
What did you get from Josh in Nebraska?
He said that that's a good move, showing that we are willing to work and try to get things moving along.
Okay.
So,
But we just haven't heard anything back from the driver of the BIA. Okay.
We also have a letter a while back that we had the draft of. Did we ever do anything with that or complete?
Yeah, that was it.
Or was it? Okay.
We tried.
I'll take it off my list. So.
Yeah.
Also, been getting some emails from Samsara about our contract and payment and stuff like that. So
That's what I forwarded that to Todd too, to look at that. So is that an annual contract, or did we sign a 3-year
I thought it
contract,
was
or
like
what?
3 years, but I think we have wording in there
with,
The anniversary date is like basically 2, I think, and then I haven't looked at the contract, hadn't had a chance, but I remember like either there was like 3-year. We have the term in there that we can, not appropriate money for it, but, I don't think that's supposed to be typically used for termination. It's only if you do not have the money to do it.
Well, I thought we had verbiage in there that if the program didn't do what we wanted.
Oh, well, that's.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought because that was the whole selling point of this whole thing,
Right.
was the two programs being able to talk, being able to converse, time saving, the whole 9 yards, and it hasn't done that.
I wasn't tracking it.
Yeah. I'd like it if you looked at contract over and made sure of that, because if it's not doing what they promised that it would do.
And specifically, we're okay with it being on the machines and doing all the tracking individually. It's just that they said they would hook up with the STAR program and have that go back and forth
Yes.
And then produce our forms.
use the forms.
And they've only done one form out of 5 that's neat. And, it's pretty much.
so, do we have John Deere and Cat hooked up so that,
I did talk to John Deere that was on my list here, and Cat. John Deere sounded like it'd be the better way to go, because once you purchase the modems that he talked about, that put on the trucks and things, there's no cost after that.
Yep.
Caterpillar sounds like on the cat equipment, the stuff is on there, but it's like $125 per unit per year, for the service. And that's the lower service, just the lowest. And for the trucks and things like that, you'd have to buy the equipment and modems, things like that, just like you would the other one. But it says it's going to be probably in the $250 range per unit per year. Versus down here, all free.
I guess I'd like to see move ahead and get a bid, a hard bid from John Deere to do our dump trucks and blades, and the blades don't need anything,
Well, the cash flow.
other than the Caterpillar, so.
Well, you better check on that and make sure that we can put that on the cap. For John, that we can put John Deere equipment on the cap, especially if it's still under warranty.
Yeah, I'll check it.
I guess I gathered from when the gentleman was in here that you could put on anything.
Well, sure, you put on anything, but does that void our warranty from the John being on the caps? If it's still under warranty, I mean, you better be sure that you put other manufacturing equipment on there without voiding the warranty.
I'd like to have a hard bid to know where we're
Well,
at.
we can do all that.
And then I'd call Tyler and talk to him too and say, look, here's what they're saying, what are you gonna match? Because if we've already got it on the cap, then I'm almost having a hard time putting something else on there. I just say, what can you match on it?
Okay, the teams have ordered some contact, they've already contacted us, they have those ready, they'll be up here today, this afternoon, and then it's later. Matt gave me 2 tubes, large, that we probably have to order sometime coming up. We've got an 8-foot by 40-foot, to go on T and 320. We've got a 12-foot by 50-foot, 310.
What's the problem with those?
Risk assessment, pricing's got just about all that wrapped up, except for Byron Ronnie coming out and doing his heat test on all the electrical panels. And then the tubing is going to be replaced for the doors, the bollards. We've got some material in now, we just have to take time to put them all up. Quite a few of them we have installed. Still don't have the cylinder back from Caterpillar yet for the hoe damage. Found out this morning that the baler down here is going to have some repairs on it. They're recycling. It's got some holes or something in the bottom. Dig into it and fixed.
Just gonna patch it or?
Yeah. And that's something I've got on a 5-year plan to replace a few more years down the road, so.
Okay.
Get the right time. Landfill, we got it inspected the other day. They mentioned something about, our sediment pond, was holding water up in the area where we put debris at. So they came in Saturday and built that back up, so we're okay there. We did, I'll go ahead and discuss building another sediment pond down below, because it's about that time anyway, so. We're gonna try to get into it around the 23rd of this month and start that, it was dry.
Yeah.
Basically, we come in and build a barn there, and, where the rainwater will drain into it and evaporate.
It has the ability to do that.
We're gonna help. We're gonna
So, but if you're gonna do that, will you be moving the cap down 134?
It's got a little bit, we can move it.
Yeah, you might check with them and see, because is there a reason it's still sitting there?
Just take the time to.
Oh.
Plus, there's some of that, the big concrete stuff down on the far end, often.
You're gonna
We wanted
call
that.
that?
We wanted
Oh,
that
okay.
for,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were gonna call that.
Yeah. Plus, he talked about possibly small birds.
I hope it's gonna happen.
Yeah, probably. Machines there. Okay, last week down on C Road in front of Green Nelson's house, turned back his crews there, hanging out on the road. We're gonna go into some ditching and bring his culvert out sometime today or tomorrow. Get that working properly. Right across the street from where he's at, there's a rock ledge, goes across somebody's driveway there, and we just keep dumping rock and dumping rock and dumping rock. It just washes across there. So I'm gonna come in and we'll hammer that rock ledge out, put a culvert in there, and then hopefully it'll save us some money. That rock barrel.
Be nice.
Yes. That's got a crossroad tube he's gonna replace on T 314. On this week. It's the only other thing I've got. Well, our rock budget, our budgeted rock money, we've got $836,774.33. Only other thing I got here is we're going to go ahead and get bids on our pest control. We did the final sheet up. I can't remember what I sent this to you guys. I did with all the road we do half rates on.
Yep.
So by doing that, we stayed, I think, within our budget that we have for that. So it's okay with you. I'm going to send this out for bids.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. And like I said, I think that from what we've talked, that after so many years putting it on full rate, you're supposed to be able to start cutting back. So I'm anxious to see how that will work.
We did learn from the guys at Flat City, because we talked about this before too. And their guy was saying that when you put this stuff down, and maybe the problem we had last year, is you only put quarter of the rate down at a time. He says, so if you're putting down a half rate, he says you've got 2 passes you got to do. And he says, because it'll run off. He says it won't do it. Last year, when we were done with the houses, is we were doing 1 pass. So that could be part of the issue we had last year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've watched a company out of Kansas City do it, and they'll do multiple passes.
Right. And that's what we do here, but then the company,
So,
do 2 passes.
So do you water and then do a quarter rate and then water again, do a quarter rate, or just do a quarter rate each, water and then do a quarter rate each time?
Yes.
Okay.
you have to have a period of time between to allow it to
Usually by the
solidify.
time they get down to the end and get turned around and come back or
Back up.
back down the road, get a little mile or so, then it's about ready to go again.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that might be the problem we've had this year.
Yeah.
anything for you? Joe, you got anything?
I covered it all.
Okay.
Going into the 811 training last week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes.
How's Barry today?
What do you guys change stuff on? Main thing is the medical stuff that are out of it, the main thing is discretionary.
Well,
Wording is.
why would they respond back?
So you'll see that a lot, and there's just some, one thing that I want your guys' opinion on the policy that I mess with.
Okay,
And
pretty nice, somebody can use it, right?
Right.
All right.
I told him, he said, for
Yeah.
You're next.
Denied.
Okay.
And of course, this there's more cleanup with page numbers and stuff like that, so. Okay. So I think the first page that I have marked for the handbook, page 21, and basically I removed the sentence that I'm not sure what the intent of the situation was under paydays, because that's, yeah. But I think, I would think you guys.
Basically restating the obvious.
Right, and I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna take that out. When I jump to page 27, that's where we take out this, remove discretionary wording and change that their birthday should be taken within the month of their birthday to give leeway for the sheriff's office to be able to accommodate it.
Yep.
Okay, holiday pay. This was something I was wanting to change. Our previous policy was basically call in before or after the holiday, and so long as you have leave time, you get paid for the holiday. I prefer the policy read that you must work your scheduled day before or after the holiday in order to be paid for the holiday. I did put a caveat in there that if the employee calls off sick and can provide a doctor's note regarding it, that's up to the department head whether or not they will allow holiday.
And that's sort of like it was down where I worked. You had to work the day before and the day after,
So long as you were scheduled.
and providing you didn't like take a day's vacation, had it
Yes, you had
scheduled
it
this
scheduled.
first of the month.
You had that
You
scheduled.
just can't call in and say I'm not
Sick,
coming in.
right.
Okay.
So that's the clarification.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
because
somebody
before
had-
anyone had leave time, they could call off and extend their holiday.
They had it scheduled.
No, if they called off
They
sick
call off.
Okay,
and they have leave time, they still got paid for holiday.
right, okay.
And I wanted to make it to where that.
Yeah, I agree with
extend
that.
their holiday.
Yeah, because if you're scheduled, you need to be there, then
That's what I
because you didn't have the forethought to schedule your time off.
That's what I'm shooting for,
Yeah.
by changing this policy.
Yeah.
To that. And I am trying to allow department heads to have say so that, because usually if someone's calling off because they want to send their holiday, they don't want to go to a doctor.
Correct.
A doctor, so.
Yep.
So it's kind of making it harder on them. I don't know if you're okay with that, the department head with the doctor, so could decide they could be paid for holiday.
I'm fine with that. That's up to the
Because I feel like they know their employees, they know who doesn't call off, and things happen. But I hate to cost them the hours of holiday.
Yep.
So if you guys are good with that, I'll go ahead with that wording on that change. And of course, towards the bottom, I just got rid of the discretionary pay completely. And you guys have these, you can kind of see if we go throughout. On page 31, I had caught this previously, but where it talks about that grandfathering in on the sick pay. Of course, I got rid of the extra discretionary day. But we did have in the wording as of the adoption's handbook for the people grandfathered in on that retirement. Why I changed it to June 22nd when that handbook was adopted. So there's the main change there, and then towards the back,
anything that had to do with seatbelt or safety things where it spoke of vehicle, we added machinery or equipment. Seatbelts must be worn in those. You have to wear your yellow vest when you get out of machinery. That's pretty much, I don't know, Excel, the rest of the changes are pretty much. Now, whenever I have one more request or ask, whenever I roll these out, I get pushback from people who are not going to sign these. Last time, I made sure people were aware whether you sign this or not. These are testing our policies and you are employees. They apply to you. But I know when we went through some different things, attorneys are asking for these signed handbook policies. I would like to roll this out and say, if you choose not to sign this, we will accept that as your resignation. Can I do that? Or do I have to go with, okay, I guess you don't sign it, don't sign it? I mean, I don't know what I'm telling the attorneys when I want to.
Yes, the first question would be, if they choose not, if an employee chooses not to sign this, that doesn't mean that they're out and they don't have to do any of this, correct?
No, that's generally, it's just taking away the excuse that you haven't seen it in some respects, but you could, that's why some of these have, I don't know what this one, but it'll have, either sign it or when you present it to them, they say, well, I'm not signing that. You can say, well, I present, you write down, or whoever.
It goes in their permanent record.
Yeah, department head says, I offered this to Fred, and he said, no, thank you, this day, in the file.
And so then you can put in your
They
permanent
need to have
employee.
some type of a.
Then there needs to be a form letter, they're exactly right, because I
Well,
mean, you're,
why would there have to be any kind of letter?
because
If Scott's gonna present that to an employee, or if anybody's gonna present it to an employee and they don't, then all the department head has to do is file a list and send it back, say this goes in their permanent file, saying that they've chosen not to sign this.
and how
And they're
does,
subject.
okay, and I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
We damn. So how do we know, 6 months down the line, something happens, right? And the employee says, well, I never got presented this.
We have the word of the department head.
True, I understand that, but that only goes so far. There
Why
needs to
would
be
it
a
only
form
go so
letter.
far?
There needs to be a letter, of, like you just said, Murray, a form letter that they have to sign, says I refuse to sign the handbook, right here.
If they refuse to sign the handbook, who's gonna force them to sign the letter?
Well, this is, what you do is you go to this page here, right here. This is Public Works Director and Dave. And he goes, sign this, and they go, no. And so he would say, okay, presented on February 8th, the employee refused to sign.
Done.
Todd Luckman, this one.
There you go.
And then you put that in their file, and then when that comes up, you say, okay, this is what happened, and they can deny it if they want to, but then, but it doesn't matter because the policy isn't contingent upon them accepting it.
Right.
And it isn't really even contingent upon them knowing specifically what was in it, right? You can't, this is not a contract that they can say, well, I wasn't aware of what a contract says, it's a policy. Right. So,
And if they refuse to sign it, and Scott or any department head fills that information out and goes in their permanent record, they get injured because they weren't wearing a seatbelt or run over or hit by a car because they weren't wearing an orange vest. They weren't following employee handbook.
Yeah.
Like I said, Mark, if you can't get them to sign that, who's going to enforce them to sign another letter?
That's fine. I just think that if they don't acknowledge somewhere that they were presented this, and we have that on file, I think that that's going to be,
So I think for anyone I have to show, I'm gonna have the employee's name at the top, I'm gonna have a space, and then, because last time I went out to different departments when this was presented, we'll just put the date it was presented and write down on each one whether if they refuse to sign or if they sign. And then I have it dated, the date we presented it to them, they were there, refused to sign, and then that will take care of it.
okay.
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Ray. We have anybody come down and explain this. I don't understand why, yeah, this right here says, making 8098 Dodge is exempt from property tax. Is there additional information or something we're missing?
I think that it was probably,
So that it's owned by John for the entire year.
okay, so this,
I didn't see another sheet
So-
saying that it sold it. I didn't see.
what they're saying is, this is how it was. It was not, it should have been.
Catherine?
Or it wasn't John's name.
I'm
They're saying that he had it
go.
for all of 25, so they had made it off of this and shifted it to John. But I don't see one for John. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, I think so, as long as there's another sheet that follows it.
Yeah, because that didn't quite make sense.
You
Is that James?
want to speak about me, like?
Kaylee,
I remember I always said it worked. Do the games.
Kate and this is Kristie. Okay, on John Strong. We have made it on Strong, let's say. It was John for the year. So this is an okay. Thank you. It was under Robert and Sally Strong estate. Yeah, it says it was registered in John's name. It is Princess Martin.
you read license, that's Taylor's.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, John already been taxed for it. So it's been taxed twice.
That will
You should have worded it.
constitutional change, which would get rid of property taxes through a user tax fee of some sort.
That is Keith, that's Senate Bill 488.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
So my question is, can that be a, I sent a letter to the Bowser, he actually, that's,
Yes, you're next on the hot seat.
but I,
Not that hot.
your thought,
Boy, do I have a couple of questions for you.
We're gonna eliminate.
Oh, they're easy. We got an email from the Census Bureau about something.
Oh, they,
It's not
boundary
Yes.
survey, yeah.
Okay.
But it kind
You already
of.
got that
He didn't
Or
say
good,
that
good
we
year.
hear,
Well, I already got it taken care of now, but it's,
He's a reporter.
you go on and say there aren't any changes essentially.
Because it's due like March 1st. First thing is.
Other things to do before then.
And then the floodplain thing
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
you know, there was an email that said the contact information, did you change that one, Dennis? And Linda Jackson is the contact person, which she's not there anymore.
I didn't change anything. I don't know contact information for the other people, so I changed our contact information. I think that email went out to others.
It's who?
I think it's Melanie still. So it's on the left.
Well, I mean,
You don't know the
Phillips?
road bridges new email? Is that what,
I know.
what email did you mail?
Dennis's contact information?
no,
Dennis
the
and
floodplain stuff,
Dennis.
that lady had an email with all the city contact people, and Linda Jackson was still on there for Dennis, and she's not there.
Right, so I don't know.
Okay, it just said to, please send corrections.
So did that go out to all of the cities as well? I think it probably
I
did.
believe so.
Maybe it did, okay. So then they would have taken care of it.
I would hope so.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what for me to do.
Circleville, Delia, Bruce Salini is, Denison. And then City of Denison. I'm not sure who that one is.
So it went out to,
Yeah, because they still got Katie Key on there too.
okay,
Oh, wait,
that's fine.
yeah, I mean, so it looks like it went out to all the cities.
Okay, that's good. They would have taken care of it.
All right, what you got?
Is that it?
That was it. That's what they were using.
So we sent out probably a handful of denial letters on the neighborhood revitalization because people didn't turn in one form or another or just weren't complete. We sent one out, he called Friday, I believe, and said, you know, he emailed his expenditure, which he did, like January 12th, something like that, but did not have the Part 3 form with that.
It is party free form.
Is the final form. There's a Part 3 A and B. The A is if you're not complete by a certain date, you say not complete, you sign it, you date it, you get it back to our office. The
Okay, so
Part
when-
3B is when you're complete and you're ready to turn in all your items, all your expenditures, you're gonna fill out the Part 3B with the amount that was spent, signature and date, and get it in for January 15th. And that was not done.
And when did you receive the,
The 12th, I believe, is when we received the expenditure sheet and email.
and just give me an idea how many of those you received? I mean, just a rough idea, how many of those did you receive before the 15th?
I don't have numbers on that.
5?
More than
35?
that.
50?
No, I would say I worked probably 10.
Okay, so my question is, when that was it opened up prior, on the day that it was received?
Say that again.
Was it opened? Was the envelope opened, pulled
It
out?
was an
It was an
email.
email.
It was an email, okay?
Yeah.
So was it opened, was the email opened on?
I believe so.
So was an email sent back out and said, hey, we're missing this part, or the phone?
No, there is no other email correspondence.
And nobody picked up the phone and called and said, hey, just
No.
want to give you.
I don't know if anyone else called. I did not call.
Right, but nobody from your office.
No.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking. If I
Yeah,
open a
I don't
document
have,
and
yeah, I
somebody's
don't
supposed
have,
to give me information, hey, did you realize, I don't have your other.
I know,
one."
that time of year, January is really hectic, so there was a huge stack of all of them that had returned their documents. That was an email that they returned without the Part 3. That's all I'm saying is, how do you all want to deal with that, since it was like January 12th?
I mean, I'd like to give the individual the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if he didn't realize,
Again, we mailed out the Part 3 in November, just to give you that too. We mail out that Part 3 with a letter saying, hey, get your stuff back in. So,
How
this
many
is a
before though
tricky
that
one.
we turned away because they didn't complete documentation? You know, I mean,
And it
that's
was due
what
by
I-
when?
The 15th.
that's the only caveat that I can see is how many we sat here and turned away because they did not complete the documentation, and I don't want that coming back on us and saying, well, we treated him different than you treated me. I mean, we before, unfortunately, we have, I hate to see it because he sent in part of it, but didn't send in all of it. And like I say, I don't know who this individual is, I want to know who the individual is, but if we start cherry picking who we're gonna say yeah, because they sent in part of it.
I get that part. The part I don't get is the fact that, yeah,
No, I know where you're coming from, I understand that.
And
I understand what you're saying.
you denied several, you
But-
said?
Huh?
You denied several?
Yeah. There were probably less than 5, I think, that went out. I don't have an exact number of how many, but probably less than 5.
I mean, I hate to see it, I really do. But in my opinion, we can't let this one slide, we didn't let one slide last year, we didn't let one slide the year before, because they didn't send documentation in. I it's an unfortunate situation, but I can't say yes to this one and no to the others. It's gonna have to be either a cut and dried policy or not, for me.
it's cut and dry. There's no reason to bring it before us. I mean,
I told him that I would.
if it's a rule that we have and that's the way we're gonna address it, then that's the way we address it.
I mean, and I say it's an unfortunate situation, but that's the way that we've handled it before, and I can't see a reason to change it, so. Yeah.
I get that.
Ready for the next?
Sure.
So our maintenance agreement with our printer, which we always purchase outright, and we keep the printer for way longer than the maintenance agreement. But we got several bids going for a new printer, copier. I'm waiting on the third one. This is the printer that will get transferred to zoning. There won't be an option for a maintenance agreement on it, but it is the county's printer. So if they need toners and all that, they can order them offline. It's what we used to do in the past on that. So next week I'll bring all the rest of the bids in for the new printer and maintenance. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for me?
Can't think of anything.
I can think of something.
Oh, resolution,
What?
resolution? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we get closure on this, then it's
Yes.
good. Thank you. I appreciate
It's
you.
been text twice.
So this is the changes from last time. They are all done. I don't think we need to, they're mostly just editorial. So the only one of substance was the last one through 3. And I don't have in front of me, but essentially what I think we were trying to do was get a setup for people who have ag buildings that they didn't get applications for and how that works. So if you look at, we talked about changes to that whole section, and after looking at it, I think section 1 needs to stay the same because that's just our general penalty. And you're not complying with something in the code entirely, then we can do number 1. Number 2 is kind of special, 2 is kind of general. Then I just changed 3 all around, so just go ahead and read that to see if it corresponds with what we want.
So number 2 on page 2 was a change, or you wanted it to stay the same? What were the changes that you
If you look at your email, you can see the highlighted changes.
Yeah, there's a change. I'm going on the, let's see here, section 4, which is starts on page 3.
Yep.
That number 1 is the one that's basically unchanged from what's in the book already. And number 2 is pretty much unchanged. 3 is the new add. And I basically redrafted the whole thing just because it had to make sense.
If I'm looking right through your email, if you go down towards the end and starting at upon any variances where you changed everything there, if that helps.
No, I'm going to page, I'm talking about page 4. I think nobody had comments on that.
Well, I think they were asking where you changed things at. They're not highlighted on the handout, but I'm looking at the email, so I'm kind of trying to give them an idea of where everything's
Yeah,
highlighted.
I probably should have accepted the changes that I had before, so I'm confusing. This essentially still has in red things that we changed before. But really the only substantive one is page 4.
Page 4, number 3, where they're actually talking about, yeah.
Just says the first sentence is you're not going to be, there's no fee to get a certificate of zoning compliance for an agricultural use.
And so but I'm looking at the highlighted version, and I'm on 14 exemptions, number C, or letter C.
No, you're on page 4. This is the last paragraph in the whole thing.
Right. No, I have a question though about 14 C. There, bold, it's in letter or red.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so it says basically the certificate of zoning compliance and occupancy permit. I thought we were getting rid of all occupancy. We do not issue occupancy permits. We don't have anybody that's gonna do that. I know Kate had said in her comments that lending institutions maybe sometimes ask for those, right?
Yeah, I'm supplying those letters.
But we don't have the, I guess, the ability to do any kind of occupancy permits. So I thought when we had talked about this, we were gonna eliminate occupancy permit completely.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Good catch.
Yep. I think I did that on the next, on page 2.
Oh, okay, thank
But I
you.
shouldn't see it, I didn't think about it in the other one, so let's check.
Yep.
pretty sure you saw it on page 2 as well. And approved for a certificate of zoning compliance, and no building or premises shall be occupied until a certificate of occupancy is issued.
So it need to be crossed out there. So
Okay.
Agree. In section 3.1, there's a sentence in there about occupancy certificate. It's almost like halfway down. Every application for an occupancy certificate or new or changed use.
It's in here quite a few places.
Okay, yeah, I'll reset to use all.
And then section 3, number 1, highlighted in red, be the last sentence, says, starts out, upon any variance, special use permit, so on and so forth. Can you explain that? Just explain how that's applied. Or what the situation might be.
Well, I'm saying that you're gonna have situations where people say the use is not correct in accordance with what they're zoned. Okay, so they're saying, we're changing something about this.
The zoning.
Yeah,
So if you have 5 acres and it currently is residential and you have a garage on it, but
Yeah.
you're gonna change it to a fireworks or a gas station, whatever, you're gonna sell hot chocolate out of it full time. Then the zoning has to be changed, but then they have to reapply, if I'm reading that correctly?
yeah.
They have
Permits.
to reapply to make sure that, and get another building compliance permit. And how does that work? If the building's already built,
Well, they're going, yeah, this is supposed to cover, and maybe this isn't part of the process right now, but my thinking is that if you're changing the use, you're doing a special use permit, you're probably either reconstructing the building or doing, you're committed to changing it, so I think you have to have,
okay,
I got a good scenario.
perfect, that's what I want.
what's that?
So,
I want to hear the good scenarios.
a detached garage,
Uh-huh.
they want to change it into an accessory dwelling unit,
Okay.
which changes it completely, like there will be other requirements from Northeast Kansas.
Yep.
All of that.
Right.
That would require
So,
a building or the compliance
so
application.
really, what this is saying is, if you have an existing building, you're going to change the building itself in some form or fashion. That's when, other than painting and put shutters on it. But if you're going to change the footprint of it or the use of it, it's not going to store garage cars. It's going to store human beings, or you're going to sell hot chocolate out of it. Then that's when you need to have a building permit in order to approve those changes.
I think in some cases.
A new
you would
zoning
have-
compliance
You would have to
permit.
have that,
Okay,
not in all cases.
not at all. Okay.
Not in all cases.
Okay, thank you. That's great. That helps. Because to read it, can we put examples in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just trying to make sure that people understood that because everything is set for the normal process. Part of process is variances, exceptions, and special use permits.
Okay.
So what do you do when you get that? Does that mean that you got a special, if you got a zoning occupancy certificate for a home, does that just mean you never have to get one again, even if you change everything and get a special use permit? Now you got to still get it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's just saying that the zoning administrator shall review the use
Okay,
and submit any required applications for structures. Maybe if needed,
because it may not.
it may not be needed.
Yeah, I mean,
So the information, again, comes from your office or the zoning office and says, hey, you don't need one. But in this case, if you're gonna do X, Y, Z, you're gonna need one. And then, okay, I think one of the issues that's come up in the past would be section 4, number 3.
Yeah.
If you read sentence 2, if a building is constructed without an application approved, number 1, or number 3, but the first sentence. No fee shall be imposed for the apply for a certificate of zoning compliance if the landowner constructed a structure for agricultural use on property devoted to agricultural use. How do you define that? Because we've had one case already in 2025 where it was 5 acres, 10 acres, and because they stored a baler in there, they claimed that was a farming operation. So how do you define that for the future? And I ask that because if we can't define it, we need to put it into here to help people understand that an existing or currently operating farming operation, what that definition is.
So there's a definition in the
Not
record,
really,
kind of, a little bit. But then the state has some kind of loose definitions on agricultural.
probably going to be you don't have that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the case laws, case by case. So you couldn't insert anything in here. But what I'm saying is that this is at least clarifying the fact that if you have a building on a property that's zoned residential, commercial, whatever, and you say, I'm putting an ag building on there and putting my bed on there. It doesn't matter because the land is not used for agriculture. It's twofold. It's the building is agricultural and the use of the property is agricultural. So, that's.
So is that, if I walk in and I say, give that example, is everyone in your office able to give that explanation of it's both land use and building use? So if, in our example in 2025, homes, 5 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres, got a garage on it, and yep, I had a calf in there once, and we bottle fed a calf, maybe had a 4-H pig in there. Okay, great. That does not make it an agricultural. Are we able to convey that to the public?
We try to, of course, the new ladies don't have that experience yet. But yes, we try and ask a lot of questions about.
So my suggestion would be somehow, some way, we put within here, hey, go to page, the end of the book, here's a definition for that, so that it helps the general public. Because I think sometimes that's one of the hardest parts is conveying what we're trying to say through regulation in common sense examples that help people understand. Oh, I get it. Because I bet if you polled 100 people in this county, I bet 95 of them would say, all I have to do is put my UTV with a sprayer in there that I sprayed my ground with, and that building now is ag related, which is not true. I think there's a misconception of what that means. So I'm just trying to figure out ways that we can help the community, the taxpayers, people who are building buildings, have an easier way to figure that out and better definition. Is there
I think maybe just putting a definition in.
thoughts on that, legal? I mean,
Well, I think probably my tendency would be to put something in there that's akin to the memo, which is just, it's not as beefy, it just says, yeah, state law and this is what it says, kind of.
and I don't think it needs to be in our regulations. I think it needs to say in here, for definition, go to definitions book and number 3. And then whoever's working in that department, they can go, okay, here, I'm gonna give you a definition, and that should help people. Thoughts?
Yeah, do we not have any kind of definitions in our regulations as far as what we're saying?
And their definitions, definitely.
So then,
But
I agree with Keith that that's what we should do, is have a definition of just what an ag building stands for.
I don't have my book, does anybody have the
First one to it wins. You know, in Kate, that's one of those things that this has also come up. So I bet if you polled those same 100 people and said, do you think you have to have a building compliance permit for a building that's not affixed to the ground? I bet 100% of them, 95% of them would say, no.
And I would have been one of them until I was
And so-
sitting here.
So, again, if we have some sort of definition and we're following that so that if somebody says, well, it's on skids, okay, it may be on skids, but still it exceeds the square footage, so therefore, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, I'm just saying, whatever the rules are that makes it a permit qualified building, let's have that in there.
Sure. So I want to clarify too, that it was always it's portable, yeah, just call us and let us know so we can make a note that this building is on this property and it's portable. That was always the case until I started digging into FEMA requirements and floodplain requirements.
Okay?
That's when all of this came up.
But you're saying within our regulations, there is some place that states if it is portable, there is not.
No.
So see, that's where the community gets a little suspicious because it's a judgment call. There's no rule, so today it's this, tomorrow it may be that, right?
Yes.
And so that's another one of those things I want to address. If we're going to require that, then here's what it is. Let's have a public hearing, to get input. Do people think that if the community says, okay, building that's 400 by 100, it's not affixed to the ground, does that make sense? No. So those are some things I'd like to see cleaned up as this. And I know it requires time, and I know your office is busy.
Well, it's also the remembering that we're dealing with floodplain stuff too, and how do we just eliminate that entire group of buildings and possibly get into a pickle with floodplain issues. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why all of this came out, is because technically there shouldn't be any portability in the floodplain. They should be anchored, so.
But if the guy buys a hog shed, and he's got 50 head of hogs on it, and he hooks onto a tractor and drags it down to the bottom of the hill, today it's in the floodplain. Tomorrow it may be back up on the hill and not in the floodplain.
Yeah.
And so,
It gets complicated. When you
yeah, and I'm not
start
sure that
with
we need to be in the business of regulating that. I think there needs to be just some plainer, if he wants to put his hog shed at the bottom of the creek, and a rain comes up and that's floodplain and it floats away, now the liability's on him, right? If it flows down, it hits
said
our
that
bridge.
it would have to, it would require a variance to get an,
Well, the problem is that when that happens, you have a violation, maybe somebody reports the feds, and then you're, that.
He did it, when, according to, yeah,
you
I
know, we're
mean,
supposed to enforce it.
Yeah, and
we're not enforcing it, we're not gonna go out.
Well, we have to, we're supposed to.
yeah.
And how, we don't have anybody that can go out and enforce it. What I'm saying is, I mean, that can change on a daily basis with portable hog shed, or portable calf shed, or any kind of portable shed. One day it could be in the floodplain, the next it couldn't. What I'm saying is that there's gotta be some liability on individuals who, if they're going to make the choice to put it in there for a period of time and a flood comes along, now they're liable. It hits our bridge, it destroys part of the concrete, okay, now we're gonna go after them. Or if it floats down and it hits the neighbor's house,
Neighbors can have this.
the neighbor's gonna have to go after it.
But that
Personal
doesn't,
liability.
yeah, I understand that, and that may cover those damages, but if the feds say, like we talked about before, that somebody complains that you're not complying with the regulations, they can then revoke that. It could revoke that status, it gives people lower cost flood.
So if we're going to require above a certain square footage a building compliance, then let's put that in this regulation. Because right now,
And I think as we've discussed before, we've never really come up, we never really sat down and talked and came up with the square footage that we're gonna say is above and beyond. And But I think what Kate's saying too is that any portable building that comes in and is set on the ground needs to be notified to your office and building permit, right? Is that was what you had told me about the chicken coop? I said, I had no idea on that,
Yeah,
right?
so it's verifying floodplain status and all of that, and
what other than floodplain status?
setbacks, I mean, it can be moved if it's portable, so it can be moved into their property if it's on somebody else's property, I mean, encroaching.
Right, and so there again, somebody moves too close to my property line, I don't like it. There are avenues I can check, and I can go over them. I measured that. You're 35 feet off my property line, can you move it? Sure. Or no, and if they say no, then you just take the next step. I'm just, yeah, there are some things that just need to change. But I'm kind of moving off of what we're.
Yeah, do we have a definition of agricultural land?
The use of a tractor land, 5 acres or larger, where the principal activity is to produce income from the growing of crops, horticulture, nurseries, truck farms, or the raising of fish, poultry, and cattle, or other livestock, including commercial feedlots. Such definition includes structures necessary for carrying on farming operations and as necessary uses the dwellings of those owning and or operating.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, and that is the, I mean, that's kind of the statutory.
How easy is that to find? Is it right next to?
Well, it's the definitions, it's in the front of the book.
It's in the front of the book. Okay.
And I think the key to that is to understand that it starts out by talking about use.
Right.
And that's where your disconnect is for your average person.
Right.
If they're building buildings, they're not using something. They're not talking about the total property. And if you have a whole property that's a farm, and you put a building on there, 99 times out of 100, it's gonna be an agricultural building.
Because I bet there would be people who, I know people who have over 80 acres. There's a farming operation going on. There is nothing agricultural other than their hunting. But if they build a building on it, they're probably gonna want that exemption.
Well, the question, I mean, how is it zoned right now?
Yeah,
Is it zoned ag?
this
If it's
is
zoned ag, boom, it's done.
It's done. Perfect.
Yeah,
Well, no, that isn't the way this reads. It says where the principal activity is to produce income from growing crops, blah, 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 so they're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, I
that is
think-
not the principal.
But if
For
it is,
that,
but by the action of the county, they've said this is agricultural property.
thank you.
We can't deny that.
There you go.
Because we said it's agricultural. If it's not, if it's supposed to be, I don't know what it's supposed to be, a business, or we should be changing our zoning maps and change the zone in that and notify the owner.
Well, what I'm saying is, we just read the definition.
Mhm.
The use of a tract of land 5 acres or larger or agriculture is where the principal activity is to produce income from growing of crops, horticulture, nursery, truck farms, and raising of fish, poultry, cattle, or other livestock, including commercial feedlots. If you're not doing anything on that 80 acres, then you can't claim it as agriculture, even though it's zoned
What
agriculture.
if you have, let me ask you this, you have a 3-acre tract of property with a home on it, and it's abandoned.
A 3 acre.
3-acre tract, it's abandoned. It's zone residential, it's abandoned, nobody's lived there for 5 years.
Okay.
Is it residential still?
Yes.
Okay, so nobody's living there. There's
Okay.
no resident. There's
You
nobody.
couldn't possibly farm that ground, that's something.
Well, but no, I'm just saying, the use is established by zoning, by the application.
That is perfectly fine. The use is established by zoning.
You don't
I
use
agree
it
with that.
because you abandoned the property.
I totally agree with that. Okay? I mean, I'm not arguing with that. But so then are we gonna say, well, how are we gonna fit that into this agricultural definition?
It's part of it.
No, it's not.
But I'm just saying,
No, it is not.
I am saying if you, okay, we start off, we got a full-blown farm on this property. All right, they go to you guys, and it's not zoned to anything. First right out of the box, they say, we want to zone this agriculture. And you go out, and look at it, oh yeah, they're farming, agricultural use. Farmer dies. It's fallow, nobody does anything with it except it's growing up in grass, nobody's doing anything. 10 years passes. Still agricultural. Nothing's going on. What's the zoning? It's an agricultural property. Now I want to go build a plant on it. I want to do my food sovereignty. Todd's food sovereignty. I build on that and I say it's a business. Here's what I got to do. I got to go to the county and say I want to change that to a business designation. This is no longer agriculture. But until then, it's ag because we zoned it.
And if you
are
own
correct.
that, if you own that, and you go out there and build a building, and you put a tractor in it, it's still
Farming.
an ag-related building.
And if you
Because
start farming,
it's zoned that way.
yeah, and if you start farming it, then you don't have to.
That's the second piece to it.
No, right here, in all.
That's a definition of
agricultural
what
definition.
agricultural
It
is,
is
Mark.
not.
The second piece is it zoned agricultural?
I'm just saying that you can't deny
Correct.
the fact, and on a county basis, they come out there and they do what you said. It's been fallow for 10 years.
Perfect
Nothing's happened.
example is CRP ground.
Yeah, it's CRP ground, they put the building out there.
It's still A1 ag.
And
Yes.
they say, it's ag. And we say, no, but we've said it's ag for 10 years. We don't have, if we changed it,
And I'm not arguing the zoning. I'm arguing if we're gonna go on this, our definition definitely says right here, the use of a tract of land. Okay? I'm not arguing zoning. I'm saying the use of a tract of land, 5 acres or larger, where the principal activity is to produce. If it's lying fallow, it's not producing anything, correct? If it's a CRP, it's not producing anything, correct?
yes, it's not producing.
Am I correct here, Keith?
It's producing grass.
Can you do anything with that grass unless it's an emergency grade? That's not producing anything. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, according to our definitions, if somebody wants to come out and put an agricultural building on that 80 acres that you were speaking of, this has nothing done on it with agriculture,
Say it louder.
it will not be an agricultural building.
Yeah.
So if we're going to change, if we're going to get down to the nitty gritty on this, then we need to look at our definition on that for the agricultural buildings. That's all I'm saying. According to our definition, we can't do it.
Most of
We
the
gotta have
time,
present
most of the
use.
time it's not this complicated. We ask them, what are you using it for? What are you storing it in? And if they're like, we park our vehicles in it and our ATV, then we're gonna say, all right, we're gonna define this as a garage, residential garage, and you'll be charged a fee for it. Most of the time, there aren't any issues with that. Because I also explained to them, it'll be assessed at 11.5% versus 25%. So they don't seem to have a problem paying a little fee for the application.
Yeah, for the less property tax, right?
Most of the time it's not complicated. So,
All I'm trying to get at is that if we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty on this, our definition is not going to support an agriculture building under 80 acres. That's all I'm saying.
Well, here's where the rubber meets the road on this is the fact this is defined in state law, right? Because we can give our definition of what we want it to be in our world, right? But at a certain point, there's a statutory exemption that applies to it, so that's why you probably need to look at the memo again, just to see how gray this is, and that you're gonna have a hard time with a position that says essentially active agricultural use is the test.
So then do we need to change our definition? Because that is what we're saying in there. And if we're going, that's all I'm trying to get at. If we're going contrary to what is the state saying, then do we need to change our definition or not?
And I guess I don't like to change the definition because it's going to meet a good substantial portion of the people who need to know what that is, because they're actively doing farming and they would say, I'm producing something, this applies to me. And then we're going to have 2% that are going to be, well, but our answer to that isn't going to be, well, you haven't done anything on that for the past 5 years, so now, what? I think we could forcibly change people's zoning designations.
You'd say that one more time?
We could forcibly change their zoning designations, meaning if we think that this property should be residential,
Why would we ever do that?
I don't know.
No, we didn't, yeah.
We would
not do
no,
that.
you would not do that, but I'm saying you could say in a situation where the land use is not appropriate to agricultural use, you could say that and make them change it. Or you could change it because, and remember, zoning is about the areas, right? So we're not talking about, quarter section tracts all over. We're talking about the ones that are right next to Hoyt, or the ones right on the very north edge, or the south edge of the county by Topeka.
And so an example, just so everybody understands, what you're saying is, if we find like the gentleman over by Hammond that built a floodplain, obviously running a business building furniture and marketing it, all that kind of stuff, that's a situation where, okay, you built in A1 ag and in a floodplain, so therefore it needs to be rezoned and raised up to meet the floodplain.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm saying you guys have an interest in zoning it correctly, according to the overall needs of the county, whether that be, or to match what they're doing. So you would go to them and maybe change it. But that's the remedy for that, not kind of make it active. Meaning you're policing somebody's actual production.
It would not be.
Yeah, because that's not what state law really doesn't have that activity. So, right? And that's why I'm saying all the county zoning is a representation of the existing use and what you're proposing for its use going forward. And it should be that agricultural property is next to ag until you get closer to Holton, and then that's at some point turns residential.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're over here in your ag, it should be just straight through. If you're over here where the residential starts coming in, then your use is questionable. And that's when, that change can be important. But all you're saying is, in a zoning context, when it says ag, you're saying that's what it was used for, that's what they applied for. And whether or not they're using it now is not relevant to us unless they're using it directly contrary to that zone.
Ready to move on?
We gotta stop doing this stuff. Nothing ever good came from changing.
I just read things in black and white, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Well, but-
to me, there's no gray area there, I just read black and white.
Yeah, and that's the trick is because all they say is gray area about this. So that's all there is in an ag state.
Like I say, to
You
me,
know.
there's no black, there's no gray there, there's black and white, that's it, so.
I'm good with,
I'd love to have it change, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll make another pass at this and then we'll try to have you guys behave yourself next time.
You gonna do this again next week?
That's what I mean. Yeah. But that, I guess I wanted to make sure I got that right on number 4 of the last page. Basically says,
Well, that gives us the teeth that we were talking about.
yeah, it just says, if you don't apply for you've got an ag limit, you don't apply for it, and then the zoning administrator says, you got a building there and you didn't do it, and you say, oh, it's ag use though, then you can apply for that zoning permit and it's no charge. But if you don't, after they give you notice and 120 days pass, then you start getting a double fine or fee. Right? The building costs a fee of $200, so you get $400.
So it's talking about subsection 1, which
Yeah,
are
well, that means I'm leaving the ability for us, if
to
there's,
take it further.
yeah, to actually prosecute them if they get, say they're just being crazy and, you said, it's going up, the charges are going up as we talk. And they said, well, it doesn't matter to me. Then I still have the ability to legally go after it for a criminal penalty, for the county attorney. So, okay. You're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you weren't bossy too. Are you good? Got everything answered?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, what else you got for us, Bob?
Well, I didn't really have anything after that. It was nice that Kate was in for that. We got it through. So, unless you guys have any questions about the status and whatever.
Did you hear anything on hearing last Monday?
Oh, no, I haven't. Was that one of Dave's cases to me?
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And that wouldn't be unusual technically if the judge doesn't always issue rulings from the bench.
Okay.
He'll take it under advisement usually.
All right.
So I'm hoping that they'll give us an answer for too long.
I don't think I've got anything else for you. You think of anything?
Keith's thinking. You look so serious without the mustache. Yes.
What's that?
You look so serious and severe.
The GPS thing with Road and Bridge, you feel confident that if we're not going to use them and they're not fulfilling what we believe should have been fulfilled, we can just say, tell them at the end of this contract year, we're done.
I think that's probably, and I haven't looked at the language of it, but I think it's a strong position because if they haven't complied with something that they've promised to do, you're kind of surrendering that. And I'm thinking that probably, the worst case scenario is you just say, you can cancel it or you can keep it, we're just not paying, and maybe they say, okay, well, we'll just finish up the contract and do something and say we did it.
Yeah.
I'd like to feel self-conscious about that without looking at the contract.
Yeah, I'd like you to look over the contract,
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm just, my reservation is that you shouldn't use that allocation language for the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
budget language. You know.
Well, I really, Keith's right, I think that we put in there something about that these two systems had to meld, and if they didn't, then, that was kind of a null and void right there. So, double check that and see what you think.
Okay,
All right, I don't think I have anything else.
all right.
See anything?
All right, thanks, sir.
I'll head out
Okay.
for this cold day. Are you warm finally?
My feet are cold.
So those one things they have under the desk things with that little partition.
I saw those. It's like a little mirror.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a space heater for your legs.
Not allowed to plug those in.
Into an expensive one. I can put a longer cord on it. This is a trip hazard.
Well, if you give me 5 minutes, I'll get you something like that. Have a good week.
So, yes. Let me know when everybody's finished reading their minutes.
I'm done.
Me too.
Any changes? I'd entertain a motion to approve minutes February 2nd, 2026.
So,
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of February 2nd, 2026 with no corrections. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Terry? Hang on a second. I need to entertain a motion to approve Terry Weldin to the agenda.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to add Terry Weldin to the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carried. Come on up.
Thank you very much, Chairman Mark.
How are you today?
Well, I'm enjoying the heat wave. I hope you all are enjoying the heat wave as well.
We're trying to.
And I am Terry Weldin, President of the Jackson County Lions Club. And I've spoken to Commissioner Keith.
And I apologize for not getting back to you. I was under the weather all last week.
Well, I'm currently under the weather myself. I'm not sprinting nearly as fast right now as I used to. And what brings me here today is that it's nearing time for the agenda for our upcoming charter night to be submitted to the printer. And I expressed to Commissioner Keith that if a representative of the commissioners would be able to come to our charter night at 6 o'clock on February the 21st to welcome the Jackson County Lions Club to officially operate in Jackson County, that would be great. Also expressed to him that if they weren't available, we just leave them off the program. So my purpose here today is to find out if a representative of the county commissioners would be available that evening. And it'll probably be toward the end of the evening's event to do that.
And I will not be available. I was probably down east.
Down the street. Yeah, I understand. And I think Commissioner Keith is also going to be somewhere else with his serving his community that way.
Are your meetings always going to be on Saturdays?
Well, this is a special event.
Okay.
This is a charter night that we have been operating in Jackson County as a branch of the Sabetha Lions Club. That is the way sometimes new Lions Clubs are built. As a branch, we started out with a branch club with 5 members back in 2024. And we have grown to 22 members now. And we meet only online. We meet at a regular club meeting only on the 3rd Tuesday of the month online at 7 o'clock. And we found that kind of a situation cuts down on people's expenses and their commitment on time, and that has helped us to grow. So my question today is, how should I put my program together?
I actually have a family commitment that day. So
Well, that's easy for me to manage. I just will not do that. This is not my first time as a charter president of a club. And so I'm easy enough to do a few keystrokes and take care of that, and I appreciate your time today.
All right, thank you, Barry. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for adding me to the agenda.
You betcha.
Enjoy the heat wave while it lasts.
We're going to.
Now I can get down to the senior center in time for lunch.
Exactly right. All right. So, I'm curious, have you looked over that Senate Bill 488?
I have, it's not gonna go anywhere.
I don't see how it can fund what they're trying to take away.
I don't think it's gonna, there have to be more pieces to it. I think there's no definition of how counties would get funded. I sent an email to Senator Bowser, and he didn't think that it was gonna probably have any movement.
Yeah, where'd the money come from?
Well, the truth, it would come from a sales tax, but I'd have to go back into it. Read the
Surcharge,
definition.
usury
Right,
tax.
I mean, I read it, but.
But $1.60 on every purchase over $20.
Again, Mark, I don't know, it didn't have a lot of definition. I do believe that at least it's a thought process in the right direction. Some of the other stuff that I've read that they want to do as far as limiting some things and limiting county, government, I think is really going to put a hindrance on our future budgets and how we operate. So, and
I agree.
at the end of the day, if that's what people want, great. But when they call up and say, there's mud holes on my road, we don't have enough money for gravel. that's what I see coming. I would like to see maybe some cap on the way we value, the way the state values property and some things like that. I think there's some things that can be done, but I also think the state could also funnel some money back to the counties to help out, to help offset that. But to my knowledge, there's no conversation.
No, and and I've said before that, they killed LABTR, the money that came back, local ad valorem.
Right.
But they killed that, but they never killed any of the taxes that are still going to the state from that.
That's true.
So, that just kind of baffles me. But,
I'm not sure what's going to happen.
yeah, I don't see that Senate bill going anywhere. It's just kind of, when I heard about that last week, I started looking into it, and it's like, wow. I just don't see where.
They have some different
The
ideas.
part of a sales tax or some sort of way of including everyone who lives in a county versus just property.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like it either because everybody who uses the county, whether they drive in it, they rent a house, or they live in an apartment, or whatever, they're using the county. And so therefore, when we can spread that cost over everybody,
Yeah.
it makes more sense. But I just don't have the authority to make those decisions. That's gonna have to
I
come
know.
from the state.
I know, well, like I say, I'm sitting here reading through it, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
But you don't
What
know
are you
what
trying
kind of
to do?
revenue you're gonna get from it either, and so how are you gonna?
It would make it very difficult to
Yeah,
budget on
it's
an
like,
annual
how
basis
could you-
because you don't know, in a bad year where economics turned really bad, it would force you to save money for those economically down times. But yeah, it'd be very hard to budget.
Right, definitely.
We'll just put that on Kirstie's plate.
Thanks.
Well, I estimate that, yeah.
But it talked about exempting some certain things. I don't think we should exempt anything. I mean, it talked about exempting groceries. Okay, why? And I know what part of the reason is, but I think you eliminate the exemptions and everybody shares in the burden of the operation of the county.
For the department head meeting, I did add work and Mr. Aaron on because I have employees that have insurance for the county. Since that was going to be a topic.
When is that?
23rd.
It is the 23rd?
Yeah,
Okay, you still have it written
it's kind of high.
It's the 23rd,
Tell Tara, she
9:30.
can't reach.
Really like that. The close date will be
20th.
Mark, did you have any opportunity to talk to Amy about
I talked to Amy and she said that they just got a signed order from the judge, head judge, to go ahead and destroy some of the things down there. But as far as and then Judge Merrick walked in and we talked amongst ourselves, and he said that he didn't see any reason why, like the transcripts, because apparently the lady who was the court reporter for all four, nobody can read what she did because it's a special shorthand that they do in blah, blah, blah. So, and she's long gone apparently. So he said, I don't see any reason to keep those. Might as well send them down to the salt mine. We have to keep them, but nobody can read them. So I don't understand that logic. But you know, so they're going to try and get rid of some of them like that. She said she will try to start going through the property that's down there. She said that's going to take the longest time to go through that, and because she has to return it to each one of the, each one of the sheriff's office, the police department, the highway patrol, distribute it back to them, and they can disperse of it how they see fit.
Okay.
So she said that'll probably take the longest time, and she is working on it. So.
what do you see a time frame once the applications are all in? What do you see as a time frame, both Linda and Mark, of interviews, hiring, that type of thing?
Probably 1 to 2 months is what I would guess would be for interviews, hiring, getting everything straightened out.
Maybe so realistic, a May 1 start?
Yeah.
Something like that, or if not sooner.
Yeah. I mean, it might be sooner. It just depends on how many more applications we get.
That means we have 2.5 months to try to get an office prepared. And that type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, Kristie, that office downstairs in here, anything technically that would have to be done as far as the communications, you have full internet, it's just a matter
There's a
of,
phone line down there, so Kate said she just took back the line that was the zoning line to start with.
yeah.
So we'll just put a phone in down there.
And then we probably have to purchase a laptop, documentation. There's 2 printers in there, one of those has some, they both work, part of those yours, other things. Okay, so we'd have to make sure that they're ready to go and desks and all that stuff.
Yeah, so realistically, May 1st would probably be a logical shoot for date, if not sooner.
And like when does, okay, so Kate's busy like now doing values and stuff. So when does she have to have stuff to you?
She sort of wants to be,
And so after that, she kind of should have a little bit of downtime. Because all the hearings and stuff would be over.
You understood my point this morning about received on the 12th. I think part of good customer service, and I don't care who hears this, I think part of good customer service would be, hey, you're gonna lose all this
Yes.
if you don't get this.
And I agree.
Yes.
I agree with
So,
that.
Yes.
so why is that? That has to be something that we do to make.
So you know, if you have a zoning person who's doing that, you know, if those things were sent out in November, you know, you come to the 1st of January, the end of December, you look at them and how many of them aren't in, you maybe send out a notice to them, a reminder to them and say, hey, we have to have this by such a date, or
just pick up the phone and call.
that's right, or you won't be eligible for it.
I mean, I know your office has done that. When you were up
You
there,
try.
I've been on that end of it.
Yes, you're still
Before I got a phone call and said, hey, you realize this.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you for calling.
Yeah,
Now, they could have mailed me a letter, and it could have taken 10 days to get to me, but that doesn't do any good.
No.
So that's part of good customer service, And I get it, if they're also busy, okay, then all the more need to get this position developed, get some of these things straightened out, so that.
Somebody who just focuses on
Correct.
those things. Yeah.
And has the ability to spend time with people.
Right.
And make sure that those examples are given so that people don't have any question in their mind about what's going on.
Yes.
I don't have anything else.
And like I said, I knew where you were going with that, and I agree with that 100%. It's just that
You're right. Others have been turned down and you
we
can't make,
can't
you can't.
treat that one any different.
That's
I mean,
true.
Unfortunately, we just can't.
But what's going to happen is, and there's some things about it, the whole program that I would like to revisit. One of the things is the date when you fill out the paperwork. Well, if you fill it out now, and you pass January 1, but I think if you do this and if you do that, next thing you know, you're like, huh?
Yeah, because if you fill it out in November, then you've only got until that January, and then you got a year past that, not 2 years. So yeah, I mean that's something we did. We missed that when we did it last time.
If you fill it out on the day before Christmas, you have whatever we designate, 12 months?
Yeah.
18 months, whatever we think that should be, to get all your paperwork, get done and get your paperwork turned in. That way people can put it on a reminder, they know exactly what it is, there's no confusion.
Yeah.
There's no, any of that stuff.
Now, like I say, we missed that last time we changed that 2 years ago.
I don't know that we missed it, I think that should have been, that is one of those things that I think a zoning administrator should make a recommendation. Hey, wait a minute, you realize how confusing this could be. Those are those things that I think they're doing on a day in, day out basis. And should be making recommendations back to us. And I think the conversation also needs to be had with Kate's office that we plan on pulling somebody out of that office if we're going to take all of zoning out. And that's probably not going to be very popular.
Right.
But I mean, you guys both agree?
No, I agree.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Double check. I don't think
I
we
agree.
need to. And obviously, there should be some leeway on what Kate thinks and her input, but if she's gonna allow somebody to leave the office, and go into zoning, we would want her input on who that employee would be. But you would think that it would be the employee with the least amount of seniority.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Anything else? Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. It's probably moving second to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I did think it was interesting. I want to just share something with you guys. Just information. So there is a survey that Rowdy has put together, and I've been keeping track of it, what people in Jackson County want to have a conversation about. 66% solar and wind. Road and bridge is 33%. Taxes are 80%. Budget is 46% and some change. Property rights, 66%. Transparency, 46%. And then privacy is 40%. I'm not sure, exactly what privacy.
Some of those we have no control over.
Right, but some we do. I just thought it was interesting what
Right.
people are trending. So that would help you prepare for that. Maybe have some thoughts on that.
Well, when are you going to get us information for it?
Yeah, I think
What do you say?
I think this is just some topics of what the conversation would be. So,
All right.
It was interesting.
How many respondents?
Not as many as I thought. I thought maybe there would be more. If I'm understanding this graph correctly, it's 10 responded on that, so just shy of 80.
Okay, that's good.
Uh,
I have no idea. I just, she sent me that this morning, the others, but.
Is this one of your sons?
No,